Hello and welcome to FatbossTV, and today we are looking at the Proving Grounds. This is the last part. We are looking at tanks.
Right, yes. Tanks, I did have a little go at it with my Death Knight, and I had problems. It was actually pretty difficult.
Yeah, it's definitely more difficult than the healer or the DPS one. At least I found. So this is me on my Paladin.
Yeah.
And obviously you start with Bronze out of the 3 difficulties. And immediately you're put in this sort of arena, and you have these 8 sort of barriers that don't really do anything.
No.
They're not actually there for anything apart from look, really. And essentially tanking, it's pretty shit.
Really? So
well, Bronze is like really simple.
So what you do, you tank whatever spawns. So shit's spawning all the time, and this woman in the middle both heals you as well as doing some damage.
Basically, she'll always do single target damage. Unless there's 4 mobs up. If there's 4 more mobs up, she will do AoE. But her AoE actually seems to do more damage than her single target.
So she's been a bit of a noob.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it doesn't do that much more, if it does do more, but it seems to do more single target, even though it's an AoE. So I don't know why she doesn't just spam that, but yeah, she doesn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, she does put a hot on you the last 20 seconds, but it's like refreshed constantly. And the hot just heals you for 70k. I think it's every other second or something like that.
Yeah, every 2 seconds from memory.
So, but that's the only healing you'll receive. Pretty much everything else is just you staying alive. Now, really, for Bronze at least, Vengeance doesn't really matter. You'll see me sort of turn around and get hit in the back a couple of times just for extra Vengeance. But essentially, it's not needed at all in Bronze. In Bronze, it's literally just testing you to see if you can pick up mobs.
Oh, okay.
And to be honest, you might even be able to just go AFK and let the mobs attack her.
She does have a lot of health. From memory, she has like 1.4 million health.
So you could just let them kill her. But yeah, on Bronze, none of the mobs do anything particularly like interesting. We're on wave 3 now, and this is where you'll get the foragers. And the foragers, all they do is just stack a debuff on you. And it's just like a bleed effect. So this is not really too much to worry about. The bleed effect, you can like bop it. There is ways of removing it like that. Other tanks are not really sure. I don't think you can remove it, so you will struggle if you are another tank. But the effect can be parried or dodged. So essentially, if you do come in here with parry and dodge gear, those mobs won't really apply the effect as much as if you're a haystack paladin or something like that. So that's not really too much of a problem. But yeah, generally Bronze, pretty boring.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like much of a challenge, to be honest, but all bronzes are like, this is how the Proving Grounds works. It's the same every single time. Like with the DPS one, it's kind of like, this is how it happens, and the healing one, it shows you a couple basic mechanics, because I imagine the foragers, like later on, like when you, like, I don't know, maybe do you have like a lot of them at once or something, and your stacks get really high, or?
Not really, but I mean, what does happen is that you will get the foragers spawn, just like now, on Bronze Wave 5, you will get the foragers spawn like halfway through the wave, so you have to sort of learn like to have a bit of awareness and look around and be able to pick up things very quickly. But essentially, if she does take the damage, it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, she'll get over it, which is fine. Okay, so that
was Bronze. We're now moving on to Silver.
Okay.
Which is a little bit more interesting. Rather than just having like 1 mob from the very start, you'll now have 2. But the Rippers really, the Rippers don't actually do anything. So
they made a huge increase. Blizzard thought really hard. They was like, okay, so Bronze, you have 1 mob. What can we do to make this more interesting? Add another mob.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, Blizz, you've really outdone yourselves this time. Jesus.
So yeah, they bring in the extra mob, and this in Silver you'll sort of start to notice that your DPS sort of becomes a little bit more important, because not all the time she will do enough DPS before the next wave comes in.
Right, okay.
So as you can see here, it's quite tight. I'm only on the first pack, so my Vengeance isn't stacked up from previously, but there you go. The second wave spawns just as I kill the first. But as your Vengeance goes up, it doesn't really become that much of a problem. But yeah, generally it's not a big issue.
So these are the flame coolers from the healing one as well?
That's right. These start coming in on wave 3 on healing, and you get a small one and a large one. Now the small ones, all they'll do is just spam fireball after they send out all that fire shit in the air, and the fire shit just sort of randomly goes into areas. Just make sure you don't stand it. If you stand it, you get a dot.
I think you can put the mobs into it, can't you?
I'd never actually tried, actually.
I did try it, and you actually can, from memory. So that's what you're supposed to do with these people.
Oh, well, there you go, then.
Jesus, you're supposed to be showing me, Lars.
Learn something new every day.
So yeah, like you can tank them actually in the circles, and it does make it so they take a percentage extra damage.
I had no idea.
For fuck's sake. Useless.
Well, there we go. Learn something new every day. But yeah, the difference between the large ones and the small ones is that the small ones will spam fireball, whereas the large one will spam Pyroblast, and Pyroblast just does more damage.
Okay.
Simple as that. But yeah, these mobs can be stunned. You can do all forms of interrupts on them as well. And as a paladin, you can pretty much just chain lock them out. No cast should really ever get off unless you make a big mistake. Other tanks, I'm sure, would be exactly the same. It's quite easy to lock these out.
Okay, so what have we got here? We got the wind guards. Right,
yeah, this is the extra mob that they added on silver, as well as the fire guys. And now these will do a knockback, and when they do the knockback, it will also reduce the amount of threat you have on the wind guard. It won't affect the threat on the other targets, only on the wind guard. It's kind of like, if you can think all the way back, like the Blackwing Lair dragons.
I never did.
Where they have the knockback and it reduces threat. Like that ability hasn't actually been used on any like the recent bosses in the game or anything like that. But yeah, basically you get knocked back, your threat gets reduced, and if you haven't done enough threat on them previously and she's been single targeting down, they'll just run over to her.
So it's kind of telling you how to taunt things back.
You have to taunt things back, exactly. That's all it is.
Okay, cool. So you've learned to position things, to put them in fire, if you actually bothered to listen to what the woman had to say, and you've learned to taunt things back. So that's fine. That's good. That's a thing that Blizzard like telling. It's good though that they're like kind of introducing that sort of stuff, so tanks do understand what the fuck they're supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
If they've never done anything.
I mean,
before.
What I was doing generally with the wing guards is just making sure that my back was up against one of the barricade things. So then when I did get knocked back, you know.
Yeah,
I didn't get thrown away too far. You could also use a wall if you wanted to, but I didn't really want to use the walls because I wanted to get ready to pick up next waves. But there we go. There's silver. That's silver done.
So if you do hit the time limit, it doesn't matter on the last wave.
It doesn't matter at all. You just there's nothing to do with DPS. It's literally just can you survive.
Okay, fair enough. So there we go. Silver, nice and done. So what's up with gold?
We're now moving on to gold. Now gold is actually. I mean, I'm going to admit now I actually couldn't complete it. But now that you mention that you can actually keep the mobs inside the fire so they take more damage, I think if I redid it, I might be able to do it now.
Oh my god. Oh, bless.
I didn't actually realise that.
Oh dear. Okay, so what's so difficult about gold then?
Well, in gold, you'll still get the normal mobs, but however, you'll get one additional mob called the ambushes. You get small ones and large ones, and the difference between them isn't much. I think it's just health pool and damage that they deal. And what they'll do, they'll spam Fan of Knives, although it's called Fan of Bananas.
Of course.
And it does a lot of damage, not like a magnificently high amount of damage, but it's enough for you to sort of notice.
Okay.
Not necessarily pop a cooldown, but for you to, you need to keep your eye on your health. And the debuff slows you by quite a large amount. So you need to be very careful because of these mobs. These are the Conquerors. Now, they do an ability called Powerful Slam, and it works much like the...
the mob...
From... Fuck, what's that instance's name? The instance in Mogashan Vault's last boss. Will of the Emperor.
There we go. Yeah, there's like them ones.
It will put a circle on the ground. If you're stood in the circle at the end of the cast, you get stunned.
Okay.
And it... Yeah.
Oh, like you did there.
Yeah. Fortunately, I had a cooldown up, so it didn't do that much damage. If you don't have a cooldown up, it hits really fucking hard.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all they'll do. They also hit a little bit hard on the other mobs, but nothing really.
I saw that they enraged as well.
Nothing. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the small ones. I don't think the small ones do enrage. It's the large ones, and we'll talk about that in a second when we get to them. But yeah, the Conqueror's not really a problem. Just don't stand in the circle.
Like you did.
Like I did. It's not really too difficult.
Okay,
really.
so what you got to wave 6, and it doesn't seem too hard.
Yeah, everything's going fine at this moment.
Okay. So here's some like
you will get you can get the Wingguard and the Conquerors at the same time, which can be a little frustrating, especially if you are stood against because you can get knocked back sort of into it almost.
Okay.
Which is a bit of a pain. But like I say, the main problem is just having the ambushes slowing you. And if you have enough slowing stacks up, you can't actually move out the circle quick enough. However, you can drop your stacks by stunning the ambushes.
Oh, okay.
Because because the debuff doesn't last very long, it's like a 5-6 second debuff. If that, you just need to make sure that you keep them stunned, and then your stack will drop.
Okay, so you got the large.
This is the large one. Now the large ones, exactly the same as the small ones, except they do slightly more damage, but they can enrage. And when they enrage, they are completely immune to all crowd control effects. You cannot stun them.
Can you de-enrage them?
I
don't think you can as a paladin.
I mean, I can't as a paladin, and I'm pretty sure you can't anyway. But while they are enraged, they do actually have a speed increase on their casts, which means the slam comes down much, much quicker.
Oh, okay.
And if you're going to get the slam come down really, really quick, and you're slowed, you can actually get stunned. And if you don't have any cooldown available, it really, really fucking hurts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw you was a bit slow there, so you'd have to move quite quickly.
Yeah, you need to react relatively quickly, and while this is going on, you still need to make sure that you go pick them up and everything like that. But yeah, this is wave 8. Not that difficult just yet, and I'm not really using my cooldowns as well as I should, but generally not too much of a problem at the moment.
Okay, so like if wave 8 isn't the huge deal, like is it wave 9 or wave 10 that's the horrible one?
It's wave 10 that's like the biggest problem.
Right. Okay.
So here's wave 9, and this is just sort of like an example of having 2 ambushes on you at the same time. And as you can see, like...
Does it only stack up to 5, or does it go higher than that?
I believe it goes higher. Like, they stopped doing it there, so I got kind of lucky. But...
Yeah, if you have a couple of ambushes on you, good luck trying to get out of their stuff, then I understand.
It's not too hard, but yeah. Okay. So here's wave 10. This is right at the very, very start of wave 10. We're killing the flame cooler, and it's only a flame cooler. And I'm thinking... Well, this is a piece of piss. What the fuck's going on? And then suddenly you have 2 large conquerors and the wind guard at the same time.
Right. Okay. And oh dear. Okay. So
they sort of slam in unison, which is fine. But there's the problem with the enrage, with the ambushes. Basically, both of them enrage at the exact same time, more or less.
So you need to be saving your real
so
big boys.
At this point, you need to have like all your cooldowns available so you can chain them. Because as you can see now, this is with a 50% DR up as well as my shield. I die.
Okay.
So this is me having to go again at wave 10, pretty much the exact same time. And yeah, at this point, I don't have like any of my major cooldowns up because I've had to use them on previous waves.
Okay, so it's like, to be honest, is gold really teaching you like about cooldown management then?
At this particular point, yes. This is the only point where cooldowns are important. For every other wave, you can essentially face roll it. It doesn't really matter too much. You just pop your cooldowns when you feel like you need to. Whereas here, you actually need to.
Yeah, okay.
Here, I'm trying to like kite. As you saw there, I like stun the ads and everything. And at this point, I only have DP up. I don't use it because I'm fucking shit. But yeah.
Okay.
See, this is where the fires are up. This is where I should be keeping them in the fires. If I put these 2 guys in these fires...
You might have had a chance of
chance of killing them before they became a problem.
Okay.
So that's how you do it, guys. I didn't do it, but there we go. Alex's pro tip.
Okay.
Keep them in these little fires, but yeah.
So unfortunately we won't be able to see Endless, but I imagine it's the same thing, but just forever.
Yeah.
Just like it is on everything.
But yeah, that's tanks. Sorry I couldn't complete it. Too bad, but there we go.
Yeah, it's a bit shit, but yeah, there we go.
There's the proving grounds for you.
Lovely.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.